There are a lot of dating apps out there that people can take advantage of. And, make no mistake, these dating apps are for recreational use, if you will. But this particular dating app, I hope it epically fails. There are a plethora of dating apps out there that most of you probably already know about, and some of you may have already used or taken advantage of. Okay, of course you have Tinder, you got Hinge, Plenty of Fish, and a whole host of others that's been out for years now, right? This one right here is actually one of the newer ones, if you will. All these apps are mostly under one umbrella, which I believe is Cupid.com, and this one right here has been touted as the women's first dating app because what happens is how most apps work, where you would swipe right on a woman and choose her, and she would swipe right on you to choose you. Then one or either one of you has the right or the ability to message each other first. There's not, okay, well, I have to message you first, you have to message me first, man or woman. Well, on the dating app Bumble, if both of you happen to swipe right on each other, you, the man, cannot message her first. She has to message you first, which essentially this created a problem with this app because a lot of men have complained about that they're getting ghosted all the time. A woman will swipe right on you and you'll get a connection, but then she'll never message you. And eventually your match will, after I think 2 or 3 days, your match will fade away. Or they'll message you once or twice, which happens on all the dating apps. They'll message you once or twice and they found somebody that was better because they're talking to multiple people at the same time in these apps. They'll find somebody different that's better and they'll just ghost you mid-conversation.
What happened?
And well, that has caused this app to take a hit, if you will. As you see here from Reuters, Bumble to lay off 30% of global workforce as dating apps struggle. I'm glad. And well, while a lot of dating apps are struggling because of the economy, because of our society and things of that nature, the things that we do today that make matching with somebody even that much harder, even on a dating app. This one is taking a bigger hit, and I'm all for it. Let's read this article and figure out how Bumble is starting to slowly fail among all of the other dating apps. Let's go. June 25th, Reuters, Bumble said on Wednesday it would lay off nearly a third of its workforce, the latest in dating app industry striving to develop features that will keep its users spending amid economic uncertainty. The company also raised its second quarter revenue forecast as a broader effort to revamp the platform starts to take hold. The job cuts will affect 240 roles or 30% of Bumble's staff. Rival Match MTCHO also announced 13% workforce reduction last month. Yeah, this was, of course, old articles about a week or so ago, but the situation still stands. They're going down. They got to get cut a third of their workforce, which is a lot of people, by the way. Even though these apps don't employ a lot of people anyway, getting laid off is not a good thing, all right? And it's the sign of things to come if they can't turn things around. Bumble shares rose at 19% on the news, but their market value has shrunk by about a fifth this year to a little over $500 million. But its peak was around $15 billion.
Damn. I'm sorry.
When the company went public in 2021. Wow. Now, 500 million is still a lot, but compared to 15 billion, that is a big reduction in numbers, all right? Your value was around $15 billion at the start, and now you're at 500 million. So you can do the math on that, all right? The layoffs reflect Bumble's new strategy of optimizing for user experience rather than revenue or user growth in the short term, and underscores the new CEO Whitney Wolfe Herd's desire for a more agile startup structure, said M-Science analyst Chandler Wilson. Well, the user experience for the woman might be good, but the user experience for the man, well, it sucks, and that's probably why you're taking such a dip. Because make no mistake, you need men for this app to to thrive, if you will, because there's other dating apps for, the rainbow community and things like that. So we don't need we don't need Bumble in the big sphere of dating apps, because there's plenty of other ones that people will use and they don't have to use Bumble. Okay, so they'll just freaking delete this app and just use a different one, because there's several. Online dating firms have struggled in recent years to retain audiences, especially Gen Z users, leading to management overhauls at Match and Bumble, as well as pressure from activist investors. Now, earlier I got to make a correction, because Match.com is the overall company. I said Cupid.com. It's Match.com. I believe they own Bumble, and they own Tinder, and they own Cupid, and a couple other ones they own. There's a lot of them. There's like 4 or 5 of them, and they're all under the umbrella of Match.com. Now, a lot of other people, instead of doing dating apps, they're actually using sites like Snapchat and Instagram. They're just hitting the DMs and things like that. So they also do need dating apps to meet a woman. Again, if they qualify, if you will, they can meet a woman on social media. So I mean, it all depends on how much money you got, what you look like, things like that, what you do. You can get somebody on social media as well. If you've made it this far in the video and you're still here, thank you again for your viewership. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell, that way you can be notified whenever I go live or drop new content. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, please do so by hitting the Cash App $sign Mr. Normie. And you can also go to my Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/workingmanmg. Also, I'm trying to build a community on Locals. So if you would, go please check out my Locals page, and you can join for just $5 a month. You can post, and we can build a community of like-minded working men over there. Thank you for your time. Now back to the video. Bumble's Hurd had returned as CEO earlier this year, when the promise of boosting the company's performance by focusing on matchmaking quality. The company raised its second quarter revenue forecast to a range of $244 million to $249 million, up from the prior view of $235 million to $243 million. It had also met with Wall Street expectations for first quarter revenue in May, as it even posted a 7% decline. Where is the failure? Where is it? Do I have it? Yes, I do. All right. Bumble said it will incur about $13 million to $18 million in layoff related charges, primarily in the third and fourth quarter of 2025. It is expected to save about $40 million of annual costs, which it plans to reinvest in initiatives such as product and technology development. So they're going to save $40 million by laying off this 13% of people, or however many percent it was, I believe. Let me scroll back up. Okay. They're going to lay off 30% of Bumble's staff. So they're going to lay off 30% of people, and in turn, they will be able to save $40 million, and they're going to reinvest that into the app and try to essentially make it better. Reporting by Christina Lamb in Okay, we don't care about that. No. So y'all see it. They're going to try to save money to make the app work better for you. I don't know if they're talking about everybody as a whole or just the women, but either way, they have to lay off 30% of their workforce to try to save money, try to improve this app, because people are jumping ship. And well, can you blame them? Whether you're a man or a woman, the dating apps are fading. And in my opinion, dating apps have always been just a place to hook up. There's no real connections on dating apps. All right. I mean, you have outliers, but in the whole, these apps are really just to, do what you got to do. All right. For a short-term relationship or a short-term fling, and then it's over, you're on to the next. Right. So there it is. I hope they fail even more. And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about this seemingly decline of Bumble. And do you think it'll get worse? I personally hope so. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on your way out of the door. And I will see you on the next video.